Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another chillax session with Hakuna La Misa. So today, I would like to share with you guys the book that I have mentioned in my first podcast video, which is at the link below. And the book that I would like to share with you guys today is called Influence, the Power of Persuasion. So this book is very suitable for those who are in business line with something to do with marketing or sales, or even if you are not in this kind of field or of career, you still can read this book because it actually tell you a lot of way how the market or how the salesperson would influence your decision in purchasing an item. And okay, so let's get into the topic for today. So altogether, there are 6 ways for people to influence your decision, or how the salesman usually would influence your decision. So the first way is called reciprocation. So as we know, reciprocal means two-way, okay? So when we talk about reciprocation, it means that when you give someone something, that someone will feel that he have the obligation, the moral obligation to give you something in return. So it's not that every time. I'm sure that most of you guys, when you guys go shopping mall or do your grocery shopping on Saturday, Sunday, you find out that there's a lot of promoter everywhere giving you free food sample or free shampoo sample or any sample. So this gesture is actually to use this reciprocation method to influence your buying decision. So when you accept a drink, maybe a small cup of coffee from one of the promoter, you will actually feel that they give you something, so you feel that you need to give them something in return. So the chances of you buying their product is much higher than not accepting it, because once someone gives you something, especially Asian culture, we love the idea of giving back something to the person, that we need to give an equivalent amount or give more. If not, it's like you don't know how to, Chinese will say you don't know how to 做人啊. Yeah. So basically, the concept of reciprocation is when you want to influence someone's decision, you give them something small in return first, and you give them something small first, and in return they may give you something in return back, maybe bigger or equivalent. So the next tools of to persuade your customer is commitment and consistency. So we human, we love to be consistent with what we have said or did in the past. So one of the example that I can give you is that me and my boyfriend, we usually go to this chiropractic where he do his spine adjustment, and usually the doctor will give us a date, say that okay, you guys can, it's not an actual date, say your next appointment you guys can choose in between 3 to 6 weeks maybe. And then when we go to the front desk to pay, because it's this payment is through every session, so every time we come there and we pay, we don't need to pay in advance. So usually what the receptionist will ask is, she will ask, so when is your next preferred appointment time? So she don't give you a appointment date, she don't set it for you, she let you to decide when and to speak it out. So when we human, when we say or when we do something, we will try to be more consistent, and we will try to be more committed to whatever we did or said. So the chances of we coming back for next therapy is much higher than they giving us a specific date. Now the third way to influence people, or the third way where sales people usually use to influence our idea, is called social proofing. Now social proofing is where when we face uncertainty, when we face uncertainty, we tend to look around us what other people are doing and tend to copy them or do what exactly they are doing. So this can be seen usually in, like Lazada, Shopee, all this online shopping app, where usually there's 2 buyers selling the same thing for the same price, but one have like 100 good rating and another one have 0 rating. Which would you prefer to buy from? Of course, it's shop A because they have more acknowledgement from the from everyone, from the society, saying that this is a better product, better seller. So when we face uncertainty, we would like to choose the easier way out, so we will just follow what everyone else are doing. Now, this is actually, this can actually be very dangerous, because social proofing is when everyone who is uncertain tend to look at the person next to them. But the problem is they don't realize that the person next to them are also unsure of what to do in that situation. So everyone is just waiting and standing around to see what other people do next. So if other people don't do anything, they won't do anything too. So this situation is very dangerous, especially if you need help from a big crowd of people, when you are in a big crowd. For example, if you suddenly you feel like you're having a stroke or heart attack and you need help immediately to call the ambulance, when you are in a big crowd, it's better for you to point out at that person and just call out his name, or not even his name. You won't know his name, is a stranger. You just say, you, the guy in the purple shirt, please call an ambulance. I feel like I'm having a stroke, I need your help now. That will give higher chances for you to survive, because usually if you just sit down there and shout for help, I need ambulance, I having a stroke, usually everyone will just stand around there and everyone is unsure to what to do next. Everyone will be assuming that, oh, maybe someone else already called for help, or why is this guy lying down, other people are not doing anything, maybe I shouldn't do anything too. So in this kind of situation, it's better for you to ask for help from a direct person itself, because of this rule of social proofing. Okay, so let's move on to the third tools of how people influence your decision. The next tool is called liking. So we human, we tend to buy or say yes to the people who we like better. Excuse me. For example, have you ever have this situation where maybe it's time to choose a class monitor or a president for a club, and you don't even know anyone who is standing in front of you. You just randomly pick that person. So when you randomly pick that person, you actually see what that person is similarity with you. Maybe that person is same gender with you, or have the same hair length with you, or maybe come from the same club or background, or maybe come from the same state, or maybe your birthday are both in July, something like that. So usually we tend to say yes or support the people that are having the same interest or similarity with us. So this is I'm quite guilty of using this tool when I was a promoter back then. So last time I used to do a lot of part-time promoter job. And during my job session, I will usually have a small chit chat with my customer before selling them anything. So I'll just talk to them and then get to know them, and then maybe when they say something that I have interest in or similar value, or even a slight similarity, even if it's not something to do with me, even this can be my friend or something, then I will just agree with them, so they will feel like, oh, this person is same with me, oh, this person have been to this place same like me. So it will increase their liking, they will feel like they like me more, okay? So the probability of them buying something from me is higher. You guys can try this out, and then but not to do it too obvious, because if you do it too obvious, people will feel like, why everything that I say you are saying is similar with me, whether you are lying or not. So this thing you need to use consciously, this way to influence people's decision. And the sixth tools to influence or to persuade someone is through authority. Now, authority, I have talked about this concept in my first video, where authority means that we tend to trust the person who have higher authority rather than the person who have a lower authority. For example, you need to go to a hospital and have a surgery maybe. Which would you prefer to have the surgery? Which person would you prefer to give them the authority to have operation on you? A person who are wearing a t-shirt and beach pants and a slipper, or a person who is wearing a lab coat, a medical coat, and fully dressed like a medical personnel, would you believe? Obviously, you would choose the medical personnel because he looked more professional and he looked like he know what he's doing. So this is authority. We tend to listen or trust the person who look more like they know what they're doing. That's why this is also quite dangerous, because this is usually used by a lot of scam artists or con men, where they usually dress up in police outfit or any government authority. When they go to your houses, they always say that they are from the government and something, and then they might rip you off by robbing you, or maybe sell you something that you are not supposed to purchase, something like that. So this is authority. So we usually fall for this. If someone like a salesperson, they like to wear coat and everything, it look like they are more professional, so we usually fall for this. And the last secret tool for that I'm sure that most of us have counter is called scarcity. So scarcity means the lack of the supply of that certain item. So I'm sure that every time when we go for shopping, we will see something like 50% offer only for 3 days, or get your item at this price but for a limited time. So this is scarcity. People tends to want something that is harder to get in the future, or it's just limited. That's why people are willing to pay a high price for limited luxury item, because they know that that thing may not be produced in the future, and that is the one and only. So when something is scarce, it increases the value of that item itself. So usually when we buy item, you always see that everything is limited time and everything, but you really need to think over whether, even if this thing is limited, whether we still need it or not, even if it's not around anymore. And usually this happen, we can see during the COVID time, when the lockdown, everyone was fighting against each other to get all the necessity item that they think might have a lack of supply during the lockdown period, like toilet paper, maybe some Maggi, instant noodle, and those things. So altogether, that's the last tool where people use to influence or to persuade a person into buying something. So altogether, there's 6. So the first one is reciprocation, commitment and consistency, social proofing, liking, authority, and scarcity. So be careful for those of you who do sales and marketing. Try to apply this concept into your daily job. And for those who not in this career, just look out for this few tactic. It's a common tactic that people usually use to influence one another. And that's all for today. So thank you so much for listening, and see you on my next chillax session. Goodbye.